Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna dive into the new Revolution Beauty Forever Flawless palettes. I got a notification from Revolution Beauty when these were about to be launched, and they had this promo, buy 3 get 1 for free, and well, what can I tell you, it worked. So I ordered 4 palettes for the price of 3, which I think it's always a nice thing. And yeah, what drew me into testing out these palettes is that basically they look like a mini version of the Forever Flawless palette, you know, the big ones with 18 shades. And I just love mini versions of things, especially with eyeshadow palettes, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. So I decided to pick up these 4 palettes for the price of 3. Picked up Ebony, Ambient, Everlasting, and Mesmerized. Now, as you can see, they're still in their plastic containers. I haven't opened them. I just took them out of the box. And I thought it would be a nice idea to sit down with you, do some swatches, a demo or two, basically test these new eyeshadows, and hopefully by the end of the video, give you my first impressions. So if you want to see how these eyeshadows perform, what I think of them, and if I recommend you getting them or not, just, keep on watching. Before we jump into these palettes, I just want to invite all of you who are watching this and are still not subscribed to go ahead, click that subscribe button, and if you're excited about this video as I am, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and yeah, let's do this. So I think we're going to focus on 2 palettes out of the 4 for now. I don't want this video to be super long, and I'm gonna go for Ebony and Mesmerized. I think they're quite different, and it would be interesting to see one look of each palette on different eye. But first, let's open them, see how they look, and of course, swatches. Okay, let's start with Ebony. Just taking this out. That's a cute little package, and I love mini things. I feel that sometimes big palettes have so many shades in them, and you know what? Some of them are repetitive and they're not really unique within that palette, and it's just, I don't want to say excuse, but it's kind of an excuse to make another pan inside the palette sometimes. And I love that a good palette, well, I think a good palette can be a small one with core colors in the collection that you can use all of them and they're different from one another, and you don't get 3 shades that look almost the same, that most people can't even differentiate between them. So mini palettes I like. Let's see how it looks from inside though. Oh, this is cute. The kind of cool toned, can be smoky, can be maybe daily with a hint of sexiness. Yeah. And if I take this plastic off, this is how the shadows look like. Pretty nice. And yeah, let's swatch these. Okay, top row, we have Ivory, Ebony, Velvet, and Silver. They feel really creamy. Let's see how they perform. So first of all, we have Ivory, which is a nice pinky, light purpley, shimmery shade. We have, woo, that's pigmented. Ebony, which is, as you can see, beautiful silver shade. We have Velvet, that I love this color. I don't know, I think the camera picks it up more bluish, grayish kind of tone, but on my arm it looks beautiful, very plum shade, very deep. And let's see, Silver. Is it silver? No, it's not silver. It's a black, not too opaque kind of black eyeshadow. But, I like it, especially that velvet one. I think it's super pretty. Second row of the palette, we have Silks, Raven, Moonstone, and Agate, I'm not sure. Let's see how this swatches. Okay, let's go for it. Silks. Oh, that's a nice, cool tone, bluish gray. I've never seen a shadow like this. I think Natasha Denona has something like it in one of her palettes, but this is so interesting and beautiful shade. We have the Raven, which is great. Let me take another dip in this. Oh, that's a beautiful color. These colors are they're just calling my name. This one and the velvet one, I love them. Moonstone. Yeah, I love this. This is also a nice cool toned gray, very dark and intense gray. And last one is the, agate. Well, I think there is a pretty clear color story here. You have this one, and the velvet one that kind of speak to each other, and you have the grays, silvers, but of course you can mix them up and create your own unique look, which is what I'm going to try and achieve. I'm going to mix some colors, and I'm not going to keep it only on the silver or burgundy deep plum shades. We'll see what we're going to do. But before everything, I'm going to prime my lids with this primer potion in Eden. Just a little on my lids and blend it to cover any veins, discolorations, or anything that I don't want there. So to start the first look, I'm going to take the Ebony pad and I'm going to use a fluffy brush, pick up some of this gray silks shade and run it through my crease. This is not a shade I would usually use on my eyes, especially not for the crease. But you know what? Makeup is, for me at least, all about trying different things, stepping out of your comfort zone, and just trying, testing, see what works, what not. I mean, if you don't do that, you don't grow, right? In your personal life, in makeup, whatever. So I think makeup could be therapy, but also a way to better yourself and be more bold, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I just dipped once in this shadow and look, it's quite pigmented and it blends really nicely. I quite enjoy this and it's not so bad for a transition color. What do you think? Next, I'm going to go with Moonstone, which is extremely creamy, foiled, dark gray shadow. So I'm going to pack that on a denser brush. I'm not using any fingers or any liquids media for now. And I am not sure that I need to. I'm going to take a smaller brush to just get into those crevices of my eyes. I think they blend quite nice together, but I do want to go over that edge there with the brush I used before. I didn't dip the brush again, I'm just going with what's left on it. Quite nice. And you know what, just for the kicks, I'm going to dip my finger in this shade and see how that works. Yeah, so this is a really nice foiled cool tone gray. Next, I'm going to use the same brush as I used before that has some leftover moonstone on it, and I'm going to pick up some of the velvet shade right here. And you know, I like to do that. I like to use the same brush for different shades that are going close together on your eye. It makes blending and perfecting the seamless transition much easier. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm placing it in the center of my lid. This is gorgeous. This is a gorgeous shade. It looks darker on the skin than it is on the pan. To be honest, I would like it to be a bit more true to color as it looks on this pan. I mean, if you take a look, this looks lighter, right, than on my eye, but it's still pretty. And again, with a small brush to make sure that I don't miss any spots. Going again with Moonstone with the same brush to just intensify the color payoff right here. And with a clean brush, I'm going to just dust it all over. using the first brush that we used to just make everything more seamless and the transition more soft. For the inner lid, I'm going to take Raven, this gorgeous cranberry kind of shade, and I'm going to place it here on the inner part of my eye, but I'm not applying it on the tear duct area. I want to use another shade from this palette. This is gorgeous. I love these two together, Raven and what's it called? Velvet. It looks stunning together, as expected. Look at that. It just gives a pop of light and warmth to the entire look. And you know what? I'm going to use another brush with this Raven, and I'm going to kind of push it up and out. This color is so beautiful that I don't want it to be just in that inner corner. And I'm going to blend it into my inner socket. Lastly, for the inner corner, I think it's quite predictable that I'm going to use this shade, but I'm going with Ivory and a small brush to just push it in my inner corner. It looks more purpley than it did when I swatched it, but maybe that's because I'm placing it next to that velvet one that gives it more of a deep purpley cranberry vibe. But I want to intensify just a little bit, so I'm taking my pinky and just applying it with my finger. Since I'm doing two eyes differently, and since it's currently midnight and I'm obviously not going anywhere, let's try something a bit funky maybe. And for the lower lash line, I'm going to use the same color, just in reverse. So I'm going to have the darker gray shades right here and the purpley shimmery shades right here. I don't know, let's see. As I've said, you know, makeup is trial and error, and if we don't try, we don't know, right? So I'm starting with a mixture of velvet and ivory and applying it underneath my lower waterline. Now obviously these shades won't be joined together with the top lid, but you know what, it's fine. We're testing new things and that's the pretty of it. Next, I'm going to go with this beautiful velvet color. Let's just take more of that Raven color to blend these two together and take care of that harshness. Blending this gorgeous velvet and going for Moonstone. Now, I'm not taking this right up my inner corner because that would be even too much for me. But I am going to drag it almost there. And now with a clean and fluffy brush, I'm going to go over the entire thing, just lower of where I applied the eyeshadows to make sure it's all blended, but that I don't lose the pigment. I'm not blending the eyeshadows themselves, but rather underneath them to blend them with my skin, not with each other. For my top waterline, I'm using a Black Hole by Inglot. This is something I do no matter what look I'm wearing. I think it just makes sense to have a continuity of black shade on my eyes. And for my lower waterline, I want to have like a nice plum, kind of a mixture between Raven and Velvet kind of thing. And I don't have the right eye color, the right eye pencil, so I'm going to use lip pencil. Kids, don't try this at home. I'm not taking any responsibility. So I have 3 lip liners that might get the job done. The first one is L17 by Natasha Denona, which is this color. That might work. I don't know. It's a bit too reddy. We have this one by Essence. This is number 15, Honeyberry. I think that might work better. Or the NYX matte lip liner in Copenhagen. I think I'm going to go for Copenhagen. And if I want to get the exact same shade, you know what to do, right? I've talked about it in other videos of mine, and if you want to get the exact shade, you just use a shadow. You just need to use preferably eyeliner to have a base, like a sticky base for the shadow, and then you go on top of that with the eyeshadow that you want. In my case, I'm going in with Raven. Okay, so this is the finished look. I mean, the finished eye. And I have to say I quite like it, and I enjoy extremely the lower lash line thing going on there. The eyeshadows performed really nicely, but I'm not gonna talk about it too much right now. I want to move on to the other eye with a different palette, and then we can just wrap it all up and I'll give you my thoughts. So yeah. The next palette I'm going to use is this one called Mesmerized, and it's the 4th one that I got, meaning that I ordered 3 and then I could choose another one. And you know, I have a lot of purples because I love purples on, you know, green eyes like mine. But this is like really purple, you know, it's not plum, it's not eggplanty, it's not like light pinky. This is purple, like really purple. So I was a bit hesitant, but you know what? Makeup, you know, let's have fun with it. This is how the palette looks. Like that. Let me just, okay, it went out. And yeah, this is how the palette looks. Pretty nice. It has some beautiful shimmers. Oh, this one looks really interesting. It looks like a beautiful shimmer. Wow. It's kind of chunky and I feel it's gonna have a lot of fallout, but we'll see. But yeah, the rest of the eyeshadows are also, they look really pretty, kind of on the neutral spectrum. And yeah, just so you know, this shadow is now all over me. I'm gonna try it for you guys, but if you weren't here and I wouldn't be filming this video, I probably would stay away from this shadow, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's swatch these. As I did with the first eyeshadow, I'm gonna go row by row with swatches, and I'm gonna start with this top row right here. Let's see how that performs. First we have Mesmerized, which is quite neutral, kind of a nude shade that can be used either as a transition shade for very fair skin, or maybe even just a wash of something neutral all over the lid to set your eye base or something like that. This is Enticed, which is a beautiful golden pinky shade. I feel it's kind of the same formula as the silvery one in the Ebony shadow palette. Anyway, it's pretty nice. Not a color I would lean towards, but it's interesting. Next we have Hypnotized, which is a gorgeous purple that I actually love very much. And the last one is this one called Tempt. Yes, okay, so oh, look at that. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous golden bronze, kind of has a little orange to it even. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it. So far, I'm excited. And the second row, we have different shades. We have Enchant, Mystic, Amaze, and Devour. Interesting choice of names, I have to say. All of them feel really creamy. Even the matte ones feel creamy. The only one that I'm worried about is that Amaze, that chunky kind of glitter. I mean, look at the pen already. It looks pretty chunky and kind of ruined. I don't know. We'll see how that works. We'll start with the Enchant. Let me swatch that again. So this is Enchant, and this is a nice cool tone gray, a little shimmer into it, though it doesn't look so in the pan. Yeah, interesting kind of silvery gray. Okay, next is the problematic one, or at least the one that I think will be problematic. It's actually really pretty, but as you can see, I have glitter all over my arm, so I'm telling you, I wouldn't touch that, but I'll do that just because I'm not going anywhere, as I've said. Next, we're going with Amaze. That is not showing up. Let me try that again. Yeah, so you see something there. It's a matte, cool tone brown. It doesn't look nothing like in the pan for you to see. I mean, it doesn't look the same, but I'll test it out and see. Maybe on my hand it looks differently. So yeah, cool tone brown. Nothing special to say about this. And the last one is this one. This is Devour. Nice matte baby pink. Not exactly colors that I will usually use, but I'm sure some of you out there love those colors. So like I cleaned everything else almost except that glitter that is now floating all over my arm and will probably do so all over my bedroom. We probably need to move now. I think I'm gonna go for a halo eye this time, and I really want to use this color right here. This one. So I think I'm gonna do that in the inner and outer corner, and just because I said so, I'm gonna use this shade in the center of my lid. I want to test if this eyeshadow actually picks up on my eyelids, so I'm gonna take this Mesmerized right here, which I have to say, what's up with the names? Like you call black eyeshadow silver, you call this nude, pretty obvious color Mesmerized. I mean, that's weird, but I don't know, maybe you had an idea and I don't get it. So I'm taking this Mesmerized on a fluffy brush and I'm just swiping it all over my lid. And as I anticipated, it doesn't show, and that's totally fine because I didn't plan for it to be. Next, I'm going to go with a dense brush and dip it into this color right here called Tempt. Applying it on the inner and outer portions of my lid. This is a beautiful bronze shade that I really like. I feel bronze shades look great anytime, and I'm going to pick it up a little bit with my finger to see if that intensifies it. Not so much, which is depends on your perspective, can be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe some of you would want the extra pop, the extra kick in the foiled effect. But for me, I have to say that it only means that I don't have to get my fingers dirty. So let's try some setting spray. Taking the Morphe setting spray and let's see if it matters. Oh, yeah, look at that. It matters. Okay. Now for the center of the lid, I think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna go first with this shade right here called Hypnotized, and then as a topper, I'm gonna go with this Chunky Disaster, and we'll see how it works. Oh, this is not as intense as I thought it would be. As you can see in the pan, it looks like extremely pigmented, not pigmented, but there, you know, extremely present, extremely purple. But actually, it's not as purple as I expected it to be, and it works beautifully with that golden brown shade. To be honest, I prefer this shade as it performs on my eyelids, but there is something a bit, I don't know, might be annoying or just deceiving in having an eyeshadow that doesn't perform on your eyes as it looks in the pan, and that's a bit annoying, I think. But probably not as annoying as the next step. I'm going to take that Mystic shade on my finger and I'm going to pop it on the center of my lid. And you know what? I'm quite surprised. I don't see any fallout whatsoever. And I'm going to try and mix both purples on my brush. And yeah, that doesn't do much. But at least now we know, right? To blend these colors into my crease, I'm going to take this Maze shade with a fluffy brush and just run it across my crease. I think it's doing something, I'm not sure. Well, it does add some definition and some structure to my eye area, but in a very delicate, soft way. I kind of like it. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do on my top lid, and now I have some fallout. I think the second application of the eyeshadow, or maybe using the brush, I think that's what caused the fallout. And you know what? It's to be expected with such chunky, shimmery eyeshadows. But I have to be honest, I mean, the first time I applied it, it didn't have any fallout at all, and I could have stopped there. Whatever I did after that didn't contribute much, so I could have totally left it there with no fallout. So I blame myself, not the eyeshadow, but I wanted you to know. For my lower lash line, I am first gonna go with Enticed, this pinky shimmery shade, and then follow up with that Devour shade just to blend it into my skin. I feel this shadow will be phenomenal on dark skin tones and not necessarily on medium, or maybe on fair it will be amazing too, but on my skin tone, doesn't do much. And when I blend it with Devour, let's see what happens. But my guess is that not much. Okay, let me go in with Hypnotize, that dark purple, well, kind of dark purple, just to add some more definition and to look like we did something down there. Yeah, this looks better. So I'm gonna go do some mascara, hair, rest of the makeup, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. Okay guys, let's wrap this video and give you my final thoughts. I'll start with the packaging and say that I really like this mini kind of palette. I think it's really comfortable and handy to just have that in your purse, or you know what, you can even put it in your back pocket. I mean, let's be honest, it's pretty small, slim. It feels okay sturdy wise. I mean, I'm not gonna let myself drop this on the floor, but still it's cute. It has 8 shades in it and it retails for $9, so I think that's quite good. As for the shades themselves, I'll start with the Ebony palette first. I'll repeat what I said in the intro for this video. I think that it's nice to have a mini palette that basically sums up a bigger palette, and I feel like none of the colors here repeat themselves. You can use each of the colors here in a very different way with a different combination of shadows, and I like that mini version, you know? Now, these colors really speak to me. I don't usually do a lot of grays, but I have to say that I really like it, and I think that I'm going to use this very often. The pigmentation is good, the payoff is good. Everything in this palette I actually really love, and it's totally worth the price if you are interested in those cool toned, smoky glam kind of shadows. Obviously, I didn't use the entire palette here, and I didn't, wear test this palette, but I think these are really nice. It's very creamy, and I loved working with them, so that's that. On the other hand, the Mesmerized palette that I have here, okay, so this is a palette again, and I don't know if it's because I don't like to use these kind of purples or what, but I felt like for me, there is one look to create with this palette, and it's this one that I'm wearing right now. I don't see myself pick this palette very often, and I'm just not gonna use these shades, you know? I mean, this color right here, it's a beautiful topper, but I don't know if it's worth the hassle, you know? And the pinks here, it's just not my colors. I've never been this pink girl, so it's just not for me. Again, the palette is pretty affordable. It is drugstore makeup, and it retails for $9 as well. So if you like these colors, go ahead and purchase it. Though I have to say that I'm not as impressed by the eyeshadows here as I was with the Ebony eyeshadows. I feel that they are not as pigmented as I would like them to be. And I mean, this didn't show up on me at all. This one barely, and it looked more gray than anything else. And this one, it looks really vibrant in the palette itself, but in real life, I mean, where is it? Here. So it's not really showing up. I mean, you see purple, but it's not this purple. Not at all. So I'm a bit disappointed of this one. And yeah, so this one, highly recommended. This one, only if you really like the colors. If you didn't know and you didn't get this from what I've said just now, Revolution Beauty is a drugstore brand. They are cruelty-free and 76% vegan, whatever that means. I think it means that maybe 76% of their products are vegan, or maybe 76% of the process. I don't know exactly. But anyway, 76% vegan and cruelty-free, so that's a good thing in my perspective. They're coming along pretty nicely. They're growing really fast. I picked up some other products from them. I have the Conceal and Glow foundation that I'm actually wearing right now, and to be honest, I don't quite like it, but I have to try it a little bit more. But I also got this Revolution Beauty light pink loose setting powder that I really enjoy, and it's also very affordable, and so far I am enjoying this a lot. So yeah, check it out if you want. I love this palette a lot, and I can't wait to play more with it and explore the other palettes as well. And let me know in the comments down below if you have any of the Forever Flawless palettes, and if you do, which ones, how do you like them, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I hope this video was helpful, so let me know if you decide to buy a palette or not, and I'll see you again next Friday, 10 a.m. I love you guys. Stay safe. Bye.